there networking with other people, you're talking to your plumbers, you're talking to your electricians, those kind of guys, they typically are on bank statement loans more so than a debt service scenario, right? They just have money coming in, they're not really tracking what they're doing, it's in, it's out, it's in, it's out. At the end of their time when they need to do their taxes, they look at it. So those are bank statement loan people. It's really quite easy to do. It takes about 30 minutes. There is another product called a blanket loan or a forward commitment, which we're going to look at your business portfolio. We're going to see the type of business that you do, and we're going to offer you financing for $20 million. And whatever you can buy inside of that $20 million, we're going to look at each individual property and make sure that it makes sense, but it's going to fit under that umbrella, right? You're going to be able to continue to borrow until you've utilized that entire line. So there's a lot of different products out there that people don't realize. I think we get a lot out in the market where everybody thinks you need 20 or 25% down for investment products. That's not at all true. So we can get into a debt service coverage ratio with 15% down. Again, we're going to pay higher interest rates, right? We raise the risk there. So they're going to raise the interest that you're paying on it. But as Stuart said, that's a depreciation right there, or that's a deduction right there that you're taking, excuse me. So there's a lot of ways to make it make sense. All we have to do is look at the individual property and see the details. So I'm better with questions. If somebody has questions, give me what you got out there, guys. Do you have a scenario that you've seen?
Yes, would you just take a picture of, let's say you have a client, and let's say they're young, 29, and they're wanting to buy their first rental property
Okay.
to lease out, and so not wanting to count their income, but wanting to use a product where you can do anticipation of what.
So that would definitely be
What would that be?
best under the debt service coverage ratio. So when they're looking at that, yep, they're going to be a minimum of 15% down, and then we're going to look at the cost of the property, and we're going to do an appraisal that gives us a rent schedule. So on top of your standard 10 of 4, you're going to have a 10 of 7 in there. That's going to give you the expected rent for that property. We're going to see if that fits, right? So we're going to look to have a down payment that gives us a mortgage payment that fits the expected income from that property. We don't have to look at their personal income at all in that situation. We don't look at anything other than credit score. So credit score does come into play. We can get into debt service with a score as low as 600. Those people are going to pay a lot of money for their money, right? Investment products, they would like to see somebody who's more responsible for their money, but you can't get them in at a 600 credit score. At that point, we're expecting them to probably be somewhere 8.5% to 9.5%, right? But there are products out there that fit. So essentially, when you bring me something like that, I'm going to look at their personal profile, see what we've got to fit, and then compare it to a lender list and see where they're going to fit in there at. So everybody has all the different pieces of the pie with that. They could also look at doing it the other direction if they wanted to convert their primary into that rental property. Okay, so then first-time investor is also something, first-time investor with no primary residence is also another risk layer that's going to be added in there, right? They don't have home ownership experience. So not all lenders will take a first-time investor that doesn't own a primary, but some will. They are going to pay at a higher interest rate than somebody who has experience.
And so that's called
Debt service coverage ratio. So when somebody's throwing that acronym out there, that's really what it is.
Got it.
DSCR.
And so when you talk about 15%, what if the person does not have the 15%, then what are their options?
They're going to have to look for somebody else to invest in that property with them.
Partnership?
Yes, partnership, yes.
Joint venture?
Yep, looking for somebody to come into it with them. You weren't here last month. I did let everybody in the room know that you can have up to 4 individuals on any loan product. We don't need to be married. We don't need to be in business together. They can all go on as individual borrowers. So adding them in as an individual borrower allows their assets to come into an investment property without looking like gift money. We can't take gift money on the majority of investment products. There are a few lenders out there, but again, gift money becomes an additional risk layer. So we would prefer to put them onto the loan, give them a percentage of ownership, and have it be a joint venture.
Pause it right. Where's Ronzi? Where's Ronzi? She's on the move. Where's Ronzi? Where's Ronzi? She brings the proof.